from Anna Kasparian, of all people. We've got this viral video from More Perfect Union with 2 million views. Take a look at this. I'm sorry, 8.5 million. What's going up? And in it, they say one billionaire couple owns almost all the water in California. The Resnicks secretly seized control. And that's what they're trying to blame. They're trying to say it's the rich people. Anna Kasparian says California and especially LA is controlled by Democrats. They are responsible. No more passing the buck. Our mayor, who was in Ghana as fires exploded in our city, cut the fire budget by $17 million. Endless amounts of money funneled to BS scammer homeless nonprofits. We're the highest taxed yet. We have encampments and squalor everywhere. Even worse, we don't have enough firefighters to respond to the absolute disaster we're experiencing right now. Rather than conserve the record rain we got last year, we drained it into the ocean. We are a failing city run by a sick excuse for our local government. You want to radicalize people against the modern Democratic Party? Send them to LA. Woo!
Epic.
Wow.
Totally epic. And one of the things that she's talking about with the LA mayor's budget, they took away money from the fire department, but they funded things like a trans cafe for $100,000.
What's a trans cafe?
That's my first question is what is a trans cafe, number one? And two, why is the government paying for it?
They don't sell coffee there.
They don't sell low acidity coffee there.
They should. You also have, so the Daily Caller picked this story up, gay choirs, trans cafes, and social justice art. What LA spent money on while cutting its fire budget.
Like, why is the government paying for that? Number one, it's mind-boggling, but this is what happens when you run to a Democrat-run utopia. This is what they do to you.
This, it's funny because communists all say, to each according to their needs, from each according to their means. But these people are the least likely to work and the most likely to beg. They demand, they get free stuff, and they also don't want to do work. They're the opposite of what they're claiming to represent.
They don't want to contribute to the system that they want to benefit from.
Like in this situation, they're like, where's the fire department? Where's Big Daddy to come save me? And hopefully this wakes a lot of people up.
Did you see, and then we talked about this the other day, did you see the tweet from the guy who was like looking for a private fire department to protect our homes?
Yeah.
And the left attacked him for it.
Really wild. Yeah.
I'm like, who cares if a guy asks for a private service? Yeah. Why is that a problem?
I replied to that person. I was like, you're the crab that pulls the other crab down back into the bucket. That's the exact,
which person?
The person that was complaining about it. Someone had taken a screen cap of the tweet, and they were like, "Can you believe this?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, you're the crab that pulls the other crabs down.
But of course, I mean, this is how it used to be, right? There used to be private fire insurance companies, and so if you go around in old areas, like in Philadelphia, the old houses that are there from colonial times, you can see on the side of buildings there'll be like stars or whatever, like old stars or different patterns, and those were put there by the fire insurance companies so that the fire insurance company would know if that was a house that they had insured and were contracted to protect. So, I mean, we could go back to something like that for sure, where everybody has their own fire department. I mean, I get this guy who would pay whatever it takes to protect his
If it were
home.
private, it'd be run more efficiently. You can imagine that. There are places in the country that have private ambulatory services. Like if you go to Brooklyn, the Jewish community there, and what they have done to provide service to their needs, to their community, is so much faster and so much quicker than a government ambulance could show up. They have a truck and it's there in seconds sometimes.
Sure. Yeah,
I mean,
it sure is.
Pretty incredible.
I would want to maintain a socialized fire department as well as private. If you want to go private, because I'm concerned with like private companies being like, hey, you don't have insurance, or arson, like literally them starting fires so that you have to buy their service.
It's like
for profit.
Ryan Long's sketch where he and Danny were Antifa window repair, where in the middle of the night they just like Antifa and smash windows, and the next day show up to fix them.
Well, this is the Monty Python sketch. It's a great country you have here. It'd be a shame if something were to happen to it.
You should definitely be able to supplement whatever you want for your community.
Yeah. Private.
I mean, I got to be honest, like, when the insurance companies started pulling out of California, it was the perfect opportunity for a venture capitalist to launch a private fire department and be like, yo, we'll bring in a bunch of emergency, like, what you want for fighting the fires is water, obviously. But I would guarantee you people would love some chemical flame retardants right now.
Well,
anything to put the fire out.
Yeah, that's another thing too. And that's something that the government could be doing, even while they're pursuing their dumb environmental things is they could be working to reduce the ignitability of the structures, reduce the amount of hazardous fuels, like by clearing out the brush and things like that, but also just the way that homes are built, like keep the brush away from your home, keep the fences, not quite so close together. There's a lot of things that you could do, but people don't want to change how they live either. People want everything.
I think, I'm excited if the disaster is a disaster, but outside of that, the politics. Mm-hmm. The argument was being made that Trump only has about 18 months to get his agenda through because
then it's the midterms.
Once we get to the midterms,
we have a very short runway.
Right. The squishy Republicans are all of a sudden going to back off and say, I can't do anything weird.
And there's such a thin majority.
But with Anna Kasparian tweeting like this, I'm kind of like, just let the Democrats keep talking. And the midterms are going to be smooth sailing for the Republicans.
I don't think it's going to be nearly right now. I think it's not going to be the bloodbath that the mainstream media wants to tell you. It's going to be in 26. The rate that we're going, bold leadership is needed for this country, and people are fed up with it. They are so fed up with what's going on. They don't like it. That's why they're leaving California. They're moving to South Carolina, by the way. My district's like the number 10 fastest growing district in the country. They're all coming from like New York and California, Ohio, Northeast. But they're moving out of there at such a high rate. It's insane.
I mean, you look at people like Fetterman, the way that he's been
very smart. He's the smartest Democrat on the Hill right now.
Yeah, and then there's also people like Richie Torres, who's
I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and but
his messaging
exactly. That's the point that I'm making. He's addressing the things that have caused Democrats the problems, which is not focusing on things that the average person worries about. This is something that I've said on the show before. Like, the left loves to talk about centering the margins, right? The marginalized people we have to center. We have to center the marginalized people. If you do that long enough, then people stop voting for you because you need a majority in a democracy to win elections.
Well,
their problem is they only have two. They have one in the House who speaks a little common sense and one in the Senate. Everyone else is off the rails. Totally off the rails, which benefits us.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's so happy to center minority voices and, all of this, whatever else, diversity, this and that, until it's impacting their own situations.
Let me pull up this video.
Yeah.
So this is a video that Sean, who does social media stuff for us, shout out to Sean Frasick.
Oh my gosh.
It's got 299 views. So I don't think a lot of people have seen this video. Listen to this.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, are more than just words. They represent a framework for creating fair and equitable environments in the fire service where everyone has a seat at the table. But what do these concepts truly mean, and how do they work together to build stronger fire departments? Diversity is the foundation. It's about recognizing and embracing the different backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences that make up a community. In the fire service, this means having a workforce that reflects the community it serves, bringing in different ideas, approaches, and solutions to solve complex problems. But
it then immediately just shows a black man. And what really offends me, this is a really great bit from Adam Carolla, where he's talking to Newsom. And Newsom's like, black and Latino people don't have access to checking accounts. And Adam Carolla's like, why?
Yeah, what are you
He's like, well, I don't know. And he's like, is it their genetics? And he's like, no, of course not. He's like, so then why is it them? What's happening to them? He's like, I don't know. It says different ideas, and then it shows a black guy. It's like
solutions, and then it shows his face.
Yeah.
Right. These people believe that diversity, they believe that ideas are skin deep. It is the epitome of racism.
Well, if you're a fireman and you're in there with all your gear on, you don't care what color the next guy is. And you just care if he can lug the gear, pick up a body, and get out of there.
The whole premise that this is built on is that diversity is the most important thing when you're dealing with a fire department. That's absolutely wrong. I reject it entirely. The most important thing is competence, capability. You have to put out fires. You have to save lives. I don't care what color the person that's picking up my family members out of the burning building.
I care about their muscle density.
Yeah,
I care that they can pick people up and carry them.
Well, Elon just posted one of these from the LA Fire Department because they care more about how you look than whether or not the question really should only be. And I replied to him on his posting of this one was that, are you qualified to put out a fire or not? That's really all I care about. I care about nothing else. Nothing else. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what color of your skin. I don't care.
I care about what you look like in a certain sense. How tall are you?
Maybe your muscles.
How big are your muscles?
Right.
Right. That's what. If the joke I made this several years ago is, if I'm in a burning building and I'm gasping for air and I see the door open up, and then as the smoke moves away, there's a 5 foot tall woman weighing 100 pounds. I'd be like, Lord, help me. I want to see a glistening,
You're never getting out of there
ripped,
alive.
6'3", chiseled, tall, dark, and handsome man with massive muscles. And he goes,
He can look like Sloth for all I care,
and he
man.
says, "Don't worry, little buddy, I got you." I'll be like, "Oh, thank God." And he can pick me up with one hand. I want a capable person who can carry weight. And women can do this, but it is much, much less likely.
There are fewer of us because
Right.
of our physiology, because of science, because of biology. There are fewer of us that can do that.
So if they decide they're going to hire women for the sake of hiring women, and you end up with small 100-pound women, Lord help me. Did you guys see the video? I mean, there's actually tons of them, where it's two policewomen trying to arrest a guy, and he fights them off and then runs
that
away.
did not do well.
Look at the Trump assassination attempt in Butler Township, Pennsylvania.
The little short ladies.
Right, his chest and face and head were completely exposed because they were too small. They couldn't protect him.
And I respect them for doing the job.
Correct.
But you need people who are bigger than Trump, not necessarily because they're better at being guards, but because their bodies block bullets.
Look, and
it's kind of crass, but it's true. That's part of the job.
If you look at like the Navy SEALs, they're all big gorilla looking dudes. They're all big, 6 foot plus.
Don't stare too long. Those are killers.
lots of muscle. Like that's the kind of dude that you want to do the kind of things that they ask the Navy SEALs and direct action forces to do.
But this is all part of the thing
Oh, this
too,
is the
of
one.
totally diminishing the working class and saying that working class men are beneath everybody else and are less than. And then as soon as there's a fire that breaks out, everyone's like, wait, where's the big working class guys who are willing to run into fire to save everybody? Well, you hooked them all on fentanyl and took away their jobs and told them they can't have families. And now what are you fighting for?
They're like Adam Carolla and couldn't. Adam, go ahead.
He has the story where he said he had to wait 7 years to be able to take the exam, and he's waiting in line, and there's a black woman behind him, and he says, "When did you apply?" And she goes, "Wednesday."
Wednesday.
He had to wait 7 years.
Who was that?
Adam Carolla.
Oh my God.
He wanted to be a firefighter. They said, no white people.
Really?
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.